From deep in the irradiated wastes of the Mojave Desert, it's James Robertson and Michael Lucas Smith with That Podcast, a Fallout New Vegas gameplay diary.
To the town of Alfrea rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip.
And welcome to That Podcast.
Yeah, we're back from the dead. We said we were done and we're not.
Well, we've done all the endings. That doesn't mean we're done with the game.
Yeah, so you did another playthrough where you did something a little different.
Yeah, well, for one, I went hardcore.
You went hardcore this time.
Yeah, I went hardcore this time. I also played on hard.
Okay.
So
how does hardcore and hard match up? How hard does that make the game?
Pretty damn hard. I made it a little bit harder too. This was my pacifist playthrough. I killed nothing.
Well, when you say nothing, okay, so no animals even.
No animals, no people, nothing. I thought, if I were to wake up in this world, would I grab a gun and start killing people? I don't think so. And I might not. I might kill the odd animal here and there in self-defense, but not if I can run away. And you certainly can run away from everything except for Cazadars.
Cazadars? I don't know that you can outrun geckos. They're pretty fast.
Yeah, I outran plenty of geckos.
Really? Okay.
I had a giant legion of ghouls chasing me for a while. But eventually they gave up.
I guess there's whole sections of the board you can't do if you're going to play that way, though.
You'd be surprised how many quests have peaceful ways to get through them.
No, I don't mean
but
peaceful
there are
ways
definitely
for
things.
quests. I mean, there are parts where I don't think you could get through Searchlight, for instance, without killing ghouls.
Well, I ran through it.
You can run
That's where
through
I picked
it,
up my army of ghouls.
But you don't get to do anything there. I mean, you don't get to find any of the stuff.
Sure you can.
Well, I don't know.
It involves a lot of jumping. I turned on Helios 1 and the Securitrons and stuff in there were just nasty as heck. Every time they hit me, they...
Okay, so how did you deal with the Securitrons if you weren't killing anything?
Jump around like a crazy person.
Okay. Okay, so if you're committed to not killing anything, you probably don't need to spend a whole lot of time on guns and energy weapons. Which skills did you push up?
Speech, science, and endurance.
Okay, and not barter?
I had a little bit of barter, but didn't really matter that much. Endurance lets you just run forever, basically.
Okay, that makes sense.
Speech I needed so that I could tell the legate to go away.
Right.
I actually ended up finishing this round at level 13. So not even halfway through the leveling up.
Right.
It's quite different. When you know how to play the game, all kinds of things change.
Oh, I know.
I just want to talk about the XP. Getting XP is so much harder. You don't realize how much XP you get by killing things until you're not killing anything.
Well, you also can't have companions, really, because they'll kill things just for the sheer joy of it.
Yeah, I had no companions the entire time, which made for an interesting encounter with the Brotherhood of Steel.
Oh, because they seize all your stuff.
Yeah, I'd never walked in there without Felicia Day before.
Right.
And when I did, they stuck an explosive collar around my neck.
Right.
That wasn't very nice of them.
No, they're total assholes if you do it without her.
Yeah, if you do it with her, I never thought they were that bad, but without her, yeah. I'd happily come back and wipe them all out. But that's I was a pacifist, They told me to do stuff and I did it for them. When they asked me to kill the ranger, I said, hell no, I'm not killing anyone. And he goes, I didn't say you had to kill him. And it's like, okay.
Okay, so
I just lied to him.
One of the quests you are supposed to do for them is to go up Black Mountain and bugs the radio. Did you do that one?
The which?
The one where you're supposed to go up Black Mountain and put a bug on the transmitter up at the top of that.
No, I didn't help them at all.
Okay, you didn't help them. Okay, because I was going to ask how you would manage to get up Black Mountain without killing anything.
Just run and jump?
I don't know that you could manage that with the super mutants.
Okay. I also had my luck up to 10. So when I finally got to Vegas, I maxed out every casino, got banned from gambling, got the achievement for that. And I had about 30k chips at the caps at that point. So I went and got 2 implants. The first one is the regeneration. The second one is the hardened skin.
Aha.
And that made all the difference. When I was on the Hoover Dam and the final quest, getting shot at from all over the place, I would just run and jump past them all, getting shot. I would lose about half my health, and then I would just regenerate some health because I regenerate and I use a stim pack.
Okay.
I also push my medicine really high so I get the most out of the stim packs. But of course, when you're playing hardcore, you don't get immediate health. You have to wait for it to regenerate.
And you have to eat food more than anything else too, right?
Yeah, water was a bigger problem. And so radiation was interesting. I got radiation sickness a couple of times during this playthrough just from food and water.
Right.
Because purified water is pretty hard to come by after you've used it all up. But my biggest, actually, the ranger that I had to shoo off for the Brotherhood of Steel, he had a whole bunch of purified water just sitting there, so I just took all that. He didn't need it anymore, he'd left.
Right, right.
So that was actually a real boon. I needed that water.
So is this an enjoyable way to play the game, or is this just kind of a challenge?
Both.
Because I seriously cannot imagine playing the game that way. I mean, like you said, experience would be really hard to come by because when you're wandering around with companions, the thing you notice if you're paying attention is you just soak up experience even when you're not noticing anything. Your companions will kill something and then bam, you get some experience.
Yeah, crazy people. Yeah, I don't want them in your group. So let's take an example, Repcon. You know, I'm asked to kick the ghouls out of Repcon. The feral ghouls you can do nothing about, so you have to just run past them. Then you've got the Nightkin downstairs.
Well, those are relatively easy to avoid even if you're not playing this way.
Well, no, you know, okay, so I used the stealth boy to get past them. Talked to the guy, and he said that he wanted the stealth boys. So I went to the room, and of course, there's the ghoul in there, the mercenary ghoul.
Okay.
He says,
yeah.
Find out about my partner.
Right.
So by the time I got down to the jail, I needed to use another. I'd been on a second stealth boy at this point, and on the way out of the jail, I ran out of stealth boy. So then it was kind of run and jump, run and jump. With the jailers shooting fire at me and all the other Nightkin with their giant clubs. Back to the ghoul, tell him what happened. He books it. Then back to the guy talking to Antlers to convince him that there are no stealth boys. Then they all leave, and then I can get the ghouls to leave, and then finally everybody's left except for the feral ghouls.
Right. I forgot the fact that you can avoid the Nightkin without fighting pretty easily because you just turn the right way, you can do that. But if you don't want to kill Harlan, it would be hard to avoid the Nightkin.
So, on my way out of Repcon, there were a lot of dead Nightkin killed by the feral ghouls on the ground.
Really?
So I picked up a couple of stealth boys that way.
I'm kind of surprised they fell prey to the feral ghouls.
So that was, you know, so it's a very different way of playing, and lots and lots of running away.
You know, I should mention one thing I did find in the playthrough I just did. You remember the guy who's so excited that he got the lottery ticket outside Nipton?
Mm-hmm.
If you wander through the desert, and you know where that downed airplane is, not the downed vertibird, but the airplane that's buried, near there you'll find a dead body.
It's him?
It's him, yeah. There's a if you wander around the airplane, not far from there is an unmarked but rad scorpion lair, and you can go down into it. It's like going into an anthill. You'll find a matriarch rad scorpion, which is pretty tough. But I managed to hit it with a critical and surprise it, so I whacked it in one shot with the Q-35. But outside that rad scorpion lair is Oliver Swank. For reasons known only to him, he decided to wander in that part of the desert.
He was very lucky.
Yeah, it didn't work out for him. So yeah.
So I had the darndest time taking out House.
Well, okay, so there you have to go past all the Securitrons.
Well, in my first playthrough, I danced around the Securitron, so I knew I could do that anyway. It's been confirmed that if you're really quick, you can get to House before the Securitrons actually turn hostile. I could not pull that off. I went to H&H Tools and activated the override.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything. And so finally I had to disconnect the cerebral implant in-house to disable his control over the Securitrons.
Which doesn't technically kill him, right?
Right, and doing that plus the H&H override, that's what turns off the Securitrons.
Oh, okay.
If you don't do the override, disconnecting him from the cerebral implant does nothing.
Ah.
Well, I mean, it stops him, but the Securitrons still want to kill you.
Okay.
But you have to disconnect him because he's got direct mental control over them.
Exactly, yeah, I know that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I had to restart when I made a mistake was at the Boomers power plant.
Uh-huh.
I put down the anti-ant thing, and when I turned it on, 15 ants died.
Right.
No, I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to shoo them away, so I restarted that one and left the ants there.
Well, so if you leave the ants there, you don't really accomplish... Well, actually, I guess you could, because you could turn the generator on without doing anything for the ants, couldn't you?
Yeah, but you can't complete the quest because the quest requires you to kill the ants.
Right.
Which is stupid. So the majority of the game is set up so that there are alternate ways to solve everything, but that's one of those cases where they kind of force you to take the life of a slightly not-so-innocent creature.
Okay. But other than that, you can get through just about everything, I guess, because even the hard things at the very end with the legate, or if you're playing, well, actually, I guess if you were playing for Caesar, you couldn't possibly not kill something, could you? That would be impossible. But no matter which ending you're going for, the point is there's a speech possibility to get out of the end.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if you were playing for House, you couldn't get out of killing things either, because he definitely wants you to whack the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
So if you want to play the way you were playing, the only way you can do it, I guess you could do it if you play for yourself, or if you play for the NCR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't know. I think you might be able to pull it off for Caesar.
No, because
I tried to save Benny.
You're supposed to assassinate Kimball, though, aren't you?
Yeah, but you can fail that. I tried to save Benny's life, but turning the entire camp hostile against me was too much to handle at level 7.
Yeah, that's probably bad for your health anyway, yeah, unless you're...
I think I know at level 30 I can take on the whole camp.
Yes,
that's easy.
But not if you
level
want
7,
to not kill anything.
Yeah, not at level 7. Escaping without killing anything, pretty much impossible. Mm-hmm. Well, I shouldn't say impossible. I'm sure it can be done, but... Whew, yeah. So unfortunately, Benny had to be sacrificed. It kind of warmed up to him at the end there, actually, when I was talking to him in the legate's camp and in Caesar's camp.
Right.
He turned out to be a pretty interesting guy, and he had a really good vision for Vegas.
Now, does the game give you any path to free him from there?
Yeah, there's 2 paths. You can just untie him. And he doesn't last long. Or you can give him a bobby pin and a stealth boy, and then he will escape.
Okay.
Problem is that it leaves you in the ledge.
Ah.
You've still got to deal with everybody else.
Now, if you let him escape, how does that play out later? Have you done that?
No, he just runs off. I don't know that he goes anywhere that I've seen.
Okay, so he just disappears at that point. So it's not killing him, but it's effectively the same as killing him. It removes him from the game either way.
Yeah. And I'd actually... you get some interesting speech options as you go along. Like, I convinced him not to have me killed when I was at the tops. You know, I said, okay, we'll go talk about it up in your suite. I went up there, and of course, he doesn't come up. And then over the intercom, I convinced him, look, we'll just go our separate ways and pretend nothing ever happened.
You know, I got that once, too. In the game I'm playing at present, that's the option I picked.
When I turned up at Caesar's camp, he's like, aha, real funny. Yeah, never come, you won't come after me, will you? Ah.
Yeah.
Of course you had, because you come to the Caesar's camp.
Yeah, but, you know, theoretically, you didn't know he was there.
No, yeah, you knew. Caesar tells you.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, you could actually not go after him and play out the NCR path without ever having to go after him.
Right, you could actually just leave Vegas in House's hands without ever following that part of the quest, couldn't you?
Or you could go the NCR path as well and never have to worry about it.
Right, you just leave things the way they are.
So you could definitely play the game without ever visiting the Legion. But I knew I needed the robots to finish off Hoover Dam, so that blood is sort of on my hands, but sort of not. You know, if the game doesn't count it, then I can't count it. But, you know, there's no achievement for winning that way.
Yeah, it's just I think you remembered reading a blog post about it at one point.
Yeah, the first person who did it that was kind of inspiring. I thought, okay, I'm going to give that a go. And it was really fun. It was a good challenge. Hardcore, so I got the achievement for that, obviously, finishing it on hardcore. Hardcore is worthwhile doing right from the get-go. I know they kind of warn you away from doing it for the first time you play it, but
Yeah.
if you know Fallout at all, and you're listening to this podcast and haven't played New Vegas yet, just do hardcore from the start. It barely gets in your way, and it adds a nice touch of realism to the game.
Well, what you have to do is you have to make sure you're drinking and eating all the time, and you also have to take time out of your day to sleep.
And just about everything you eat or drink is going to be irradiated some way, so eventually you have to deal with the radiation.
Well, if you find the North Vegas Medical Clinic, that's only 100 caps.
Yeah, and you can get patched up for free at the Mormon place if they like you.
Right, the followers of the apocalypse.
Yeah, because they look after people who are down in their luck.
And since you won't kill anything, that certainly qualifies.
Well, I actually never had to stay there. Because one of the tricks to surviving when you don't kill anything is to really not get hit much.
Okay.
So you use a lot of stim packs and doctor's bags and stuff like that.
Uh-huh, yeah. Well, I guess if you're playing hardcore, the doctor's bags actually start to be useful because you'll need to restore limbs from time to time. Stim packs don't do it alone, is what I'm saying.
No. You can't stim pack to get your limbs back. Actually, there were 2 items that restored your limbs. There's a fixer. No, fixer fixes the drugs.
Right.
It's the doctor's bag and something else.
Yeah, I don't remember. You're right. There is something else.
Anyway, I had to use all of those. I ran out of them by the end. Due to the luck, I never had any trouble with money.
Now, what else does luck affect besides money? I mean, obviously we know it affects how you play in the casinos, but what else does
Well, when I was in Repcon HQ and right on the 3rd floor, you have to hack a computer to get a password to go where the executives are allowed to go.
Yeah, I just did that in the game I'm in, but I had 100 signs. But go on.
Right. Well, I didn't have the signs at that stage, but I was lucky. And the computer asks you, "What's the password?" And one of the options is luck. Ice cream. you just happen to be lucky enough to guess it.
Okay.
So stuff like this, cute little things like that.
Well, actually, have you ever gone through the 2nd floor of Repcon with an intelligence of 8 or higher?
Yeah.
Did you notice that one of the options is use intelligence on the robot when it tells you that you're not allowed up there?
Yeah.
Basically, you spew out some hex and it says, "Okay, you're cool."
Oh yeah.
Which I found amusing.
Well, you can, when you're entering the Vegas Strip, if your science is high enough, you can say, "Robot, get out of the way."
Yeah, I've seen that option. Great, obviously not available to me because I've not gone up there without having either enough money to buy a passport or enough money to pass the credit check.
I was 1 skill point away from doing it, and I couldn't be bothered burning a magazine on it. So I had plenty of money by the time I made it to Vegas. I had about 3,000 caps. And the reason is that while XP is hard to come by, weapons and ammunition is not. And they sell for a lot of money, especially ammunition.
Yeah, no, I know. I've noticed that you can sell ammunition. I just normally haven't bothered. Oh, but in hardcore, does ammunition weigh anything in hardcore?
It does. I never had any trouble with a full pack. No, I think I was over encumbered once. And that was because I'd stolen a crap load of wine and vodka that I was planning to sell, so I just put some of it back. Speaking of stuff to sell...
That's probably the main thing I'd notice is that ammo weighs something in hardcore as opposed to in normal mode where it's effectively free.
Yeah, you don't want to act as a Rambo in hardcore mode. Because the different, missiles and stuff are very heavy. So I found a place to loot stuff that I hadn't found before. You know how the casinos always have a locked off area where they've got the cashier? Well, in the Lucky 38, the cashier area is accessible underneath the staircase. And there are 6 safes in there filled with money. And pre-war money and lots of cigarettes, all that kind of stuff, packs of cigarettes. So I walked out of there with, thousands of caps worth of stuff to sell.
Right, that stuff sells for serious money.
Yeah. I still have never bothered to sell all the snow globes to the robot. I like them. I like having them. They're mine. But I do have the snow.
You know, actually, when
globe
you sell them, you get them
achievement.
back. They're in your room on a shelf.
What room?
In the Lucky 38.
Well, I've never been there.
Okay, well, if you go up to the penthouse, when you sell them, you go up to not the penthouse, you go up to your suite, the presidential suite. They're on a shelf there. So you don't lose them. They just go onto a shelf.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's like 14,000 free caps right there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's probably a good idea. I should have done that then, but oh well. Doesn't really matter. Didn't need it. Already had 30,000 caps just from gambling.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the case, but it seemed like gambling at the Tops was harder than the other casinos.
Even with the luck of 10.
Yep. It took me longer to bust the bank at Tops.
Okay. Now, when you bust the bank, what actually happens?
Well, as you're playing, they come up to you and they say, "Hey, you're doing pretty well. Here's some drink. Here's some food." Then you do even better, and they say, "Hey, well, here's the key to a special suite." And it's not the same suite as you get unlocked in other ways,
right?
Which is interesting. And so it's a high roller suite. It's different. And then if you bust the bank, they ban you from gambling.
Do they actually so you get kicked out or just kicked out of gambling?
You don't get kicked out. You get banned from gambling, yeah.
Okay. So you could still get back in the casino, you just can't gamble.
Yeah. But you easily make like 10,000 caps off of them. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did you try Caravan at all?
Yeah, no.
Still not interested, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just hasn't grabbed me. The interface is too awkward.
Yeah, I tried once and it seemed like it was just too much work.
Okay, well, with that, I think I would have to say that I guess it's time for some happy times.
And you've finally gotten it correct.
Yeah. I'll fix that. Happy trails.
Got feedback? Send it to jarober@gmail.com or visit the website at jarober.com/blog/fnv.ssp.